Hello,
Oh,
folks.
sorry.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, I'm...
That's great. This.
Oh, man, what a great way to start.
Hello, folks, and welcome to 10 Points Under. When you're here, you're family. This is Biggable Frog, aka Taylor. I haven't said my name for a while, so I figured I'd throw it out there again because I haven't been recording with True for a while. But hey, this is Big/Taylor coming right at you with co-host extraordinaire, Flash19. Hey, Flash, how's it going?
Hey, great. How are you doing?
I'm doing all right. It's been a little while.
It has been a little while.
Real
it's been
time,
too long.
real time. Yeah. Haven't been able to meet up with you as much as I'd like to. You know, been lonely.
Me too, Bigga. Me too.
It's okay. We'll get through this. Excited to be recording with you again. Had a blast last time, which was a while ago, although it might not seem like a super long time ago as far as the videos go, but also maybe it will because release of videos and release of the recording and stuff like that gets weird. But yeah,
right.
You know, it'll be cool to have you again.
Well, thanks.
Real quick, as an introduction for Flash19, for those of you who may not know, first off, if you haven't heard about him, look him up. Map maker extraordinaire, Heroscape Extraordinaire, just like good person extraordinaire.
Thanks.
He's an excellent map maker. There will be a link to his map thread in the description below, so make sure you check that out because his maps are awesome. And I'm really looking forward to hearing his thoughts about this map that we're going to be working on. Probably be talking about that a lot throughout the game, I'm sure. But also, I did another video with him earlier. It was actually for this same event, so yeah, you should be able to go back and find that video, and that was a good video. He brought a lot of good insights to that one, and I'm excited to have him back.
Yeah, well, I'm excited to be back. So thanks for letting me back.
Oh yeah, of course, man. Of course. All right, so today we've got a game going down between Dysole and kevindola. So this is from the semifinals of the online Heroscape Season 35 Reverse Draft. So semifinals, this is between Dysole and kevindola. These are both like really good players. That's right, they're in the semis, and they've got a really interesting matchup going on here. Real quick about the Reverse Draft format. For those of you who may not know much about it, if this is your first video talking about it, basically what they do is they both bring an army and then they bid down the stronger army. So one person says, hey, I'll take your army, and the other person is like, no, I'll take this army, but I'll sit out this figure. And then the other guy's, okay, well, I'll take it, but I'll sit out these figures. And you just kind of like increasingly decrease the army, I guess, if that makes sense, to a point where both players feel comfortable with it, and the other person's like, okay, yeah, you can play it sitting out those figures. So in this case, kevindola, over on the right side in the yellow starting zone, he is actually running Dysole's army, the army that Dysole brought, but he is sitting out Izumi Samurai. There was a squad of Izumi Samurai in there. He's sitting them out as well as one of the Banshees. So what he's got remaining is 3.5 squads of Banshees of Durga the Swamp C3V card. If you don't know the card for the Banshees of Durga the Swamp, please check the description below. And Brontos, another C3G. Sorry, I've been saying C3G. C3V card. C3V card, again, card in the description below. Big Cyclops dude. As well as Raylan the Kiri Warrior version 1. And fighting on the other side, we've got Dysole, as I mentioned. Dysole is running the full-strength kevindola army, which is 4 squads of Death Knights of Valkyrie, 3 Diminutive Guards, 1 Praeblood Thrall, 1 Skull Demon, Kosumet the Dark Lord, and Boreos. Some of those are C3V, some of those are, they could be classic figures that you don't know about. Again, always cards are in the description below, so make sure you check those out. The cool thing about that army is that the Death Knights do bond with all of those heroes, so there's a lot of flexibility going on there. But, yeah, so that's our army matchup going on. Real quick, Flash, do you have any thoughts on these armies going in?
Yeah, well, first off, I actually really like the Death Knights. I think they're fun. Yeah, now I recognize they're not, your spiky win tournaments with them type army. But I really enjoy playing them, and I especially have grown in that enjoyment because of Boreos. I love seeing Boreos as part of a Death Knight army because of the added versatility and the shenanigans, if I can borrow a word from you, that you can pull off with Boreos, especially helping to bring, some extra Death Knights up, move them up. Yeah, because obviously the big weakness of Death Knights is 2-man squad.
Right.
2-man squad for 60 points. So utilizing Boreos to bring up a Death Knight, even just, that one additional Death Knight that you can bring up with Boreos is really helpful for positioning.
Mm-hmm.
I like the other one too. Honestly, I've never played the Banshees, but I picked them up fairly recently, so hopefully I'll be able to get a game in with them soon. Definitely have that big threat against Death Knights. They're going to be strong against the Death Knights with their instant kill ability against common squad figures.
That is true, yeah, and especially since that's common squad. Real quick note there. It's not just common squad figures; it's any common figure. So that means figures like the diminutive guards will also be able to be targeted by that insta-kill.
Oh, hey.
So,
dude, way to know your cards, man.
Well, it's just... I actually just barely double-checked that to make sure I was correct in that. But, yeah, so it makes them really good. They're, really... Well, okay, yeah. So basically the ability to automatically destroy any common figure is huge, especially if, this matchup... Death Knights and Diminutive Guards, those are both good targets for it. In other matchups, stuff like Elementals, if you're going against a Kurok army, or other big common figures that you can just automatically destroy. It's a pretty good matchup for them. Problem is, they're kind of flimsy. So
totally.
Yeah, they hit first. If they can hit first, they hit hard, but then they don't really hold that very well. So, yeah, I'm really interested to see how this game goes down.
So maybe maybe just one other thing, and maybe part of this is based off, I actually just played a game with a really good friend of mine last night online, and we actually played on this map
nice.
in preparation for today. But he's a fairly newer player, and so we were spending a little bit of time talking strategy, and one of the things that we were talking about is the idea of, I don't know, I think it's so valuable before you start a game to take a second to identify what parts of my army do I need to utilize to take down this certain part of my opponent's army.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess maybe for newer players, that might benefit from that. If you were running the Death Knight army, kind of what are gonna be your key figures that you're gonna use to try and focus on Kevindola's army, the Phantoms, or the Banshees, and Brontos?
Yeah, for sure. That's a great question, and I think that I definitely agree with that thought, that it's good to kind of mark out what parts of your army are good against other parts of the opponent's army. I think you've kind of touched on one of the biggest ones is Boreos, just with his utility. The fact that he has 2 range. I mean, 2 range isn't a ton, but it's still range, and you still have stealth flying, and so you can get height a lot, and he does have a punch. The other really big part of Kevindola's army is, in my opinion, the Skull Demon, because the Skull Demon is, first off, it's uncommon, so it's immune to the Banshee Scream, can't be auto-destroyed. It also has, I forget the name of the power, I think it's Frightful Presence or something like that, but basically, let's see, common figures roll 1 less attack die against it, and so that means the Banshees are all going to have a hard time because they're going to be rolling 2 attack versus 4 defense, which is not super great odds. And, I mean, for pretty cheap, the Skull Demon has a lot of power against common figures.
Yeah.
And so I think that, Skull Demon just about single-handedly counters the Banshees, which is about 245 points of Dysole's army. So I think that's huge. Although, to then reverse that, the big advantage, I guess, that Dysole's going to have is, one, I mean, Raylan's always nice, but especially having Brontos. Brontos is able to carry
you mean
Raylan.
Kevindola's army.
Yes, sorry. Kevindola's army. Sorry, getting this mixed up already. So Kevindola's got Brontos, who's able to carry Raylan around, which is great utility. And also Brontos can, with 3 attack, double skulls, that's able to take out stuff like a Skull Demon, just about all of the squad figures. The only problem is if he goes solo Brontos versus all the squads, he's going to get swarmed. Even by 2 figures into hero, that's still enough attacks per turn that it's going to not turn out great for Brontos. So I think there's a lot of juggling to happen in there. And I think with that in mind, I might give a slight edge to Dysole playing the Death Knights, just because the flexibility is there with the order markers. She's not going to have to worry about moving up Banshees and then Brontos, because she can just have all of her order markers on Death Knights and use them to her fancy.
Totally. Yeah, I'd say the one thing, and it'll be interesting to see how he utilizes it. But Kevin, with this map, with the layout on this map, it's not very friendly to figures like Death Knights, 5-move melee figures. And considering, I mean, those Banshees have 7-move flying, it'll be interesting to see how he tries to utilize the map to try and maybe skirt around and pick off Death Knights.
That's true. Yeah, that'll be a huge mobility advantage to Kevin going in. I think another important thing to note is that there's not any range on the board other than Boreos with his 2 range. So that means that nobody can really sit back and take shots and force the other person to come to them. It's going to be kind of jockeying for position and really looking for an opening against your opponent.
Totally, which will be awesome to see.
Yeah, I'm excited for it. All right, so we'll go ahead, get this a really rolling. And hooray.
Okay,
looks
Kevin
like
leading out with Brontos.
Yeah, Brontos. And Dysole's got, everything on Death Knights, aka Death Becomes You, Death Eaters, Death Salesman. Oh, wait, what? So he just pivoted Brontos to carry a Banshee forward and then called his turn. Interesting.
Yeah, that is interesting.
Interesting. So probably because Kevin has Raylan, he's going to be wanting to play a more defensive game, especially looking at that first move.
Totally. And honestly, with the winning initiative the first round, actually seems to be kind of a disadvantage.
Right, yeah, I totally agree there. I always
Come on, roll a 1. Get the 1 out of the way.
Yeah, I always want to lose initiative in my first round. Yeah, so that's interesting just because of how that sets the pace of the game. I imagine both players were going to be wanting to play defensive, but it does kind of look like, kevindola doesn't really have anything that he wants to dash out of the start zone for.
Right.
And of course, since he's playing that defensive, that allows Dysole to get some really good development up. And he's going to ferry another Banshee up and just make a wall. Huh.
Yeah, interesting.
So I wonder... Yeah, I can definitely see the reasons for playing just to the start zone advantage if you're in Kevindola's shoes. How do you think, if you're Dysole, how do you react to that? Do you just... obviously you've always got to develop the first few turns, but...
Oof, yeah. Well, it's one of the reasons I don't love this map. Elevated start zones in a map, it's so problematic.
It is, yeah.
Now, because we're not, we don't see a lot of range here, we're not going to see probably a lot of the inherent problems of having a elevated start zone.
Oh yeah, something like Krav Maga or something like that on this map would be pretty crazy. I think this is maybe a good time to kind of mention that about this map, because I could imagine I wouldn't be surprised if there are some viewers who are like, what's going on with this map? Especially people who are used to your typical tournament map. But since this is a reverse draft, that allows the organizers a little bit more freedom with their map selection, because basically, so with reverse draft, you're already taking out the stronger parts of your opponent's army, or at least of one of the armies, until they're about equal in strength. And so if there was a figure that was going to break this map, say, for example, Krav Maga, then you could say, hey, I'll take that army, but minus the Krav Maga. Or if somebody wants to take that army, you just bid them down until there are no ranged figures, or only a few ranged figures available to work with. And so that allows for a lot of balancing beyond just the map itself. Otherwise, in your normal, where I'm sure most people are used to with their tournament maps, a lot of the time the tournament map has to do a lot of the balancing itself, and that puts a lot of weight on that. So it is kind of cool to see these formats where it allows more flexibility with the maps because there's more emphasis on being able to draft correctly or, knowing your matchup before you go in.
Yeah, exactly. Lots of great points there. And the game that I played on this map last night, actually both of us were running Krav, and this map, it is, this map is a playground for the Krav. Just that little plateau there that you see of the level 4 along with the level 5. That part of the map can be so punishing for your 4 and 5 move melee figures, and especially double based figures. Now Brontos has got 6 move, so depending on what Kevin decides to do with him, it might not be so much of a problem getting up onto that plateau. But man, in my game last night, the Krav were just shredding.
I can imagine.
On both sides. On both sides.
Yeah, it just kind of becomes a shootout between them, and then whoever wins that just has a big advantage.
Yeah, totally. So yeah, we're seeing here, I think, just about what we expected to see. A lot of, development happening from just kind of slow developing.
Yeah.
Getting some Death Knights up there, and nothing too aggressive yet, which, as you mentioned, I mean, given the circumstances, this is really going to be a fight for position and capitalizing on bad positions that your opponent puts themselves into.
Yeah, that's especially true in kind of like we said a little bit earlier, melee fights where it kind of becomes like who's gonna strike first. Melee battles, melee v melee, gets really, really defensive.
Yeah,
because you really need to have that good positioning once you get into engagements, because if you don't, then you just lose outright. But there are a lot of wild cards in this battle, which makes me really interested to see how it turns out. Like I'll bring it up again, the Banshees. 7 move, stealth flying. They've got the, piercing scream, which lets them just auto-destroy figures, which actually, now that I think about it, is kind of sort of a ranged attack. They need to have 2 of them within 3 spaces of a common figure in order to destroy it. But that's kind of sort of range, and that can influence how engagements happen, because that means you don't have to attack uphill. You can sit back a little bit, scream somebody, and say, hey, I'll do this all day if you don't want to come down off your hill.
Right.
All right. So just a lot of development that first round. Going into the second round, and got kevindola. Interesting. I'm kind of surprised to see this much movement from Kevin now with his first couple turns. That makes me wonder. Nice. Also, I love this. I hadn't thought about this until this game, until seeing this matchup, but the Boreos-Kosumet combination, where Boreos can carry on Kosumet gives Boreos +1 attack.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. I like it. I had not thought about that.
Yeah, that is cool. Yeah, I actually hadn't realized that until you just said it, and I was trying to think. Now, I understand Kamuset, gives the relentless bonus, but what's the what's the big draw for having him in this army versus another Skull Demon?
Yeah, right. I mean, I think part of it is kind of to weaken the army, honestly.
Yeah.
But yeah, he gives that bonus to all of those heroes, not to the Death Knights themselves, because the Death Knights are tormented, not relentless. But that does mean Boreos has 5 attack.
Yeah, which is awesome.
Yeah. Only 1 wound there on Raylan, but yeah, I mean, I really like that combo. And that does allow Dysole to make a bit more of a push. So I'm really, really interested in how Kevin has paced this battle, because he started off by ferrying 2 Banshees up with Brontos, and then he made this kind of excursion out with Brontos and Raylan.
Yeah. And
so I'm wondering if moving those Banshees was just to get them closer to the battle, so that when it comes time to activate them, they're in a because a couple spaces closer to the front line can mean the difference between getting kills with piercing scream and not.
Yeah.
So I want let's see, from there. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So yeah, since he ferried that Banshee, he's able to get up to that 5 height. Interesting. So yeah, because I was expecting a more defensive battle, But maybe he was just really looking for that extra 1 or 2 hexes with both of those Banshees just to be able to get them in there.
Yeah. Yeah, honestly, well, I don't know. I was feeling like bringing Brontos and Raylin up that far, this quickly in the game felt a little aggressive. And I don't know, Dysole responding like she did, just bringing Boreos up that quick. I don't know, kind of caught me off guard a little bit. So
yeah, it's like within the space of like 2 turns, both players like completely switched tempos.
Yeah.
Which is interesting because I kind of like this play from kevindola now that I'm looking at it, since that means if this works out, he's kind of making a push for the hill, but with 7 move Banshees, he'll be able to get figures up there pretty quickly, and assuming he's able to take out Boreos and Kosumet, he'll be able to hold that hill pretty well. That said, I don't know how much I trust the Banshees in being able to take out Kosumet. Well, Kosumet's fine. I like Kosumet's he's got the sturdiest shield of all time, but he still dies super quick.
Yeah, his bio is so funny.
Link to the bio in the description below. But yeah, like Kosumet's kind of a pushover. But being able to kill Boreos, he's got 1 wound on Boreos already, but still, Boreos is kind of hammering Raylin during this time. That's another wound.
Oh, yeah, and Dysole's rolled some decent attacks, but I think that's 2 shields, both rolls from Raylin.
Mm-hmm. And then here's my other worry as far as trying to hold a position with Banshees is they've got low defense. And so Raylin helps, but then you get -2 defense from the Death Knights. So I guess this does turn into a 2v3, but yeah, Banshees just don't have much staying power.
Yeah, seeing Dysole's already running into that problem. Yeah, this is a frustrating map to count just because of that level 4 plateau.
Right.
So we already notice a big thing right there where that Death Knight couldn't get up to engage that Banshee.
Yeah, that's a tough part of the map. I almost feel like there should be a mandatory move glyph on it just for those poor figures that are walking.
Yeah. Honestly, I do think that would help resolve a little bit of the problems of this map. Okay, yeah, so Kevin's going to focus on trying to take out Boreos.
Yeah, definitely a good idea. You don't want Boreos to be running around to its pleasure. Which, it's probably going to do anyway, because it looks like it just blocked both of those attacks, so...
Yeah. It's like, come at me, bro. You ain't got nothing.
Oh, come at me, bro-eos. Yeah?
Oh, hey, we even got a pun in.
Whoop, whoop.
True's not here, and we even got a pun in.
We got this.
Oh, man, I didn't write down any jokes about True.
Dang it, it's okay. We can just razz them as we go again. Oh, man, just hammering those skulls in.
Wow.
And there's a dead Raylin. Snap.
Yeah.
And with Raylin gone, those Banshees are so much, that's, such a bad... Well, it's a good position for them, but their staying power, again, is just so bad.
Right.
And so, yeah, Boreos is a huge, huge concern, again, for kevindola right now, especially if it hops onto that, single hex level 5 right there.
Yep.
And then just hammers down on Brontos. I feel like if Dysole kills Brontos right now, and by right now I mean within the next round and a half, I feel like
sure
that's a huge swing for her, because the Banshees, while able to put on the offensive pressure, just won't be able to stand up against the numbers of Dysole.
Right.
So it'll be interesting to see, because I definitely think, like he's doing right now, I think kevindola needs to use Brontos to just get some big hits in on Boreos.
Oh, and that's 4 hits up.
Yep, that's 4 up. Oh my gosh.
Oh man. If Kevin ever needed a swing, that was it.
Yeah. Okay. So things aren't quite looking as bleak as they were 10 seconds ago.
So essentially, the way you kind of look at it, it was a trade. It's kind of a Raylin for Boreos trade up there. We need a Heroscape pronunciation guide. My wife loves it when I say that. Pronunciation.
Just all the pronunciation guys. We just need... So you've got Kosumet going for that Banshee. But yeah, I do like the idea to like not go head to head against Brontos there, and instead just kind of go for a kill on a Banshee, because those Banshees are expensive per figure.
Right.
And that does give Kosumet a small chance of making up his points. Actually,
hey, there you go.
if you consider that his extra attack for Boreos helped that railing kill, Kosumet's pretty much made up his points, I think, about now.
Hey, there you go.
There you go, see?
There you go.
Way to go, Kosumet. Yeah, so this is an interesting position for Dysole, where it looks like she kind of wants to push, but at the same time, she can't push.
Right.
Because, like, you could see here, considering going for, like, the glyph, she had Kosumet up there, but at the same time, those Death Knights are just so hampered by the map that she can't really, like... You know, she's got to hang back and stick on those hills that she's got.
Right. Yep, because Kevin just moves Banshees onto the level 5, level 3.
Mm-hmm.
And then just screams that Death Knight away, and nothing can touch him.
Yeah, and it looks like since Kevindola's got the board position, he's just going to take the time that Dysole is giving him to just strengthen his position more. And that, I mean, like, that does take pressure off of Dysole. But also, he doesn't need to pressure Dysole right now. In fact, if he pressures Dysole right now, he's way too overextended to do that safely.
Right.
So, yeah. I mean, this is a cool matchup. The more I watch it, the more I like it, because the dynamics of the map, it really hampers the Death Knights. But, if a major engagement happens, the Death Knights still have the advantage. But the Banshees can just zip around on this map like crazy.
Yeah.
It's got some really interesting dynamics going on here.
Yeah, so let's see. Kevin's sending them up north to try and skirt around being potentially threatened by Camusat, if I'm understanding his moves, if I'm understanding what's going on in his mind.
Yeah, just kind of like taking the nice scenic route to avoid all the dangers. Don't love... That's an interesting diminutive placement from Dysole.
Yeah, no, do you think she's trying to use that guard as bait to bring Brontos over?
Like she could be, but all that does is put Brontos on a hill that you still can't attack up on.
Right.
So, like, I was thinking maybe she's putting it there to just kind of like take the first hit and then supplement from strong stuff from behind. Actually, you know what? I think this is just trying to get into an initiative switch so that she can make an attack on that hill.
Oh, yeah. This is order marker 3.
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't been paying attention to those.
Yeah, order markers.
Who needs order markers? What's in an order marker? Do you know what's in an order marker?
Let's see. I think it's like plastic, some gray paint, maybe blue paint, a little bit of purple or green, depending on which ones you'd like to use.
Okay, yeah, big initiative roll right here.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see. I wonder if Kevindola goes like full Brontos here. Because if he can get that little choke point right there, if he wins initiative and takes that choke point, that's a really good spot for him to just sit there. And you can only kill one guy per turn. But, I mean, I feel like order marker 1 at least has to be on Brontos, just so that he can take that chance to try to get there to try to block that. Because if he goes there and then Banshee screams over at the top of Brontos, that's a strong position.
Yeah.
And he takes that initiative.
Yeah.
Oh, order marker 1 on Banshees, though.
Interesting.
And he's retreating.
Huh. Now, is he going to retreat with both of them, or is he...
Yeah. Interesting. Like, I can kind of see why he's retreating there, because the Banshees really need to all be together, because once they start getting separated and attacked, then they're just not doing anything. But I think even then, I still think I would have preferred an order marker and 1 on Brontos. I think he was expecting to lose initiative, or just like
Yeah.
playing safe in case he lost initiative. But I still think an order marker 1 on Brontos is, like, the positioning that you'd get from that would be too good to pass up? Question mark.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. And see, we even miscounted too. That Dumatef can't get up there. They can't get up that far.
Yeah, that's 7
And Kevin,
spaces to get up there.
yeah.
So, well, let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, you can't get engaged to Brontos. The Death Knight will be able to, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, Death Knight will be able to.
Right.
Dysole keeps thinking that her figures have one more move than they do.
Understandably, I mean, I'm sitting here, and I went through the headache of figuring this all out last night, and I'm still.
It's
yeah,
honestly
that's still 7 move.
Yeah, when you're going, this hill is a nightmare for, like, especially online when you're trying to count in your head.
Yeah. Oh man.
Yeah. When you're going from, like, level 1 to level 4 in an online format, that makes it. I mean, that's already tough in, like, person.
Yeah. So I guess that's why. Order marker 1 was on his Banshees. Kevin had counted it out carefully and knew that the only thing that was going to be able to get engaged with Brontos was a Death Knight.
Yeah.
But I mean, still, Death Knights. I just would have loved attacks against heroes with low defense.
Yeah, exactly. And I just would have loved for Kevin to be able to take that choke point right there.
Yeah.
Because that would have been such a good position to just say, okay, you're not coming through this part of the map anytime soon. You're going to have to go around one way or the other. I mean, I can understand the initiative gamble that poses, but I don't know. I still think I would have risked it because
me too.
Your Banshees weren't going to get hit anyway, because if Brontos is only going to get hit by one guy, your Banshees weren't going to get hit by...
Right.
I guess if you lost initiative, one of them might have gotten hit, but... I don't know. I just think you could have, like, positioned Brontos to block him off.
Oh man, Dysole blaming last night's insomnia for my poor counting. Well, I must have insomnia too, and all the rest of us.
Yeah, it's it's an insomnia world. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, no, Dysole's right with that one. That one's correct.
Yeah.
Okay. kevindola agrees.
So I told you before the game that I actually I looked up reviews on this map. This map, many moons ago. In fact, in 2008, January of 2008, this map, who was created by Game Bear, one of the classic map makers. Oh, hey, good block there. Mm-hmm. This map was submitted to the BOV in January of 2008. Didn't make it, wasn't accepted. But I was telling you earlier, just wanted to bring it up again because I think it's funny, that one of the reasons it was denied entrance into the BOV was because it didn't have enough zing.
Which is an odd thing to say of a map that's like...
super asymmetrical, right? It doesn't have enough zing.
If anything, I think like maybe too much zing. I don't know.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That's how I would put it. Oh, interesting.
That's, I've like half seen Brontos played in a lot of games recently, and he's kind of become one of my favorite figures just because of how much utility he has. He's like a Swiss Army knife of single-eyed goodness. Yeah,
I've played a few games with Brontos, either with him or against him, and yeah, he's fun.
Mm-hmm. Really quick, just because I'm thinking now that we probably have some people who aren't super familiar with Brontos. Like always, the card is in the description, but just for those of you who maybe like aren't able to open up tabs right now or something like that, one of Brontos' big abilities is the ability to kidnap guys. He's based off of the Greek. Oh shoot! Which legend is that, or story is it has the? It's got the Cyclops that kidnaps people or sheep. Anyway, that's like the theme that they were going for with this guy. So he can
Is that like the Odyssey?
I think it's the Odyssey.
Homer's
I want to say
Odyssey?
it's the Odyssey.
I don't know.
That's what I would guess right now, but also Not completely certain right now. But yeah, so he can just carry figures with him. They can be friendly, they can be enemy figures. The limitation on that is that he does have to attack if he attacks, he has to attack the figure that he carries. So for example, he was carrying Raylan earlier, so he can't carry Raylan into the middle of a bunch of figures and then attack somebody else, because that turn he would have to attack Raylan. So that keeps him from being too super duper awesome sauce goodness. But it is still really good. I mean, right there, to be able to retreat and run back with a figure and still take an attack on it, that's really, really good. And then his other ability, we kind of mentioned, he does have double skulls, but with his particular ability, he's like a bit more clumsy, right? So he's got double skulls, but also he gives everybody counterstrike. So if he like blanks on an attack, then he's going to be taking some hits back. So it's some interesting play and counterplay. He's also got, as you can see up in that wound box, he's got 9 life. He's got 3 defense. He's got the survivability of an almost Keros. He's cool. I like him.
Yeah, he is cool.
He's got a lot of stuff going for him.
Yeah, no, we just saw Dysole try and disengage to try and take a shot at a Phantom. Dysole, you actually miscounted again. That bridge is on level 3 height.
Wait, and she was 1, 2, 3. Yep.
So I'm sorry, Dysole, to bring that up. I could have just ignored it, and then somebody would have brought it up in the comments.
No, that's a good thing to bring up, because I wasn't counting right then. So,
but maybe she wouldn't have made that. Well, she wouldn't have obviously tried to leave engagement if she.
Right.
If she'd known.
If she wouldn't.
Because I don't even think, even jumping right there, what Kevin said. They're not engaged there because of how high the bridge walls are.
Yeah, because that's like, let's see, if she's on level 0, that's 6 height difference between them. So yeah, that's a no engagement.
Yeah, it's 5.
Oh, is it 5?
From water 3, to the
4. Yeah, that's 5. You're right. Lots of like abstract thinking going on. Bridges are great.
Yeah. Don't you love bridges?
It's this map doing wonders on Dysole right now.
Yeah, and unfortunately, I don't know, but it's kind of looking like Dysole's maybe falling into something that's going to come back to bite her. In that, I don't know, you're seeing a Death Knight start to spread out up north by itself. Mm-hmm. I mean, you've got that Dumatef, but I mean, if you're Kevin, those Death Knights by themselves, those are your prime targets.
Yeah, that's exactly what you're looking for in this game, is just being able to pick off individual common figures with the Banshee Scream. Because if you don't have to roll dice and you can just automatically destroy something, that just makes life so much easier for you.
Yeah.
And
with the level of defensiveness we've seen in this game.
Yeah, I think it was a really good choice for kevindola to retreat back there. Even though I would have done it a little bit differently, taking time to retreat and regroup has put him in a really good position. Granted, Dysole has gotten some board control. She's got both of the glyphs right now. She's got Kosumet, who has potential to be able to go in and kill 1 or 2 Banshees, which actually would be really big. That'd be the most work Kosumet's put into a game in I don't know how long. But,
yeah.
Yeah, it's lots of really good interplay going on. Because, like, kevindola is definitely making good plays. Like, the retreating was really good. But it's also still not quite like a 100% win for him. I don't think it... Yeah. I'd still say it's around 50-50. Because there's still, like, that figure difference.
Right.
Yeah, so we'll see how this next round pans out. It's like a lot of Banshees there for Kevin.
Man, we've had some low initiative rolls all game.
No. Good thing these guys aren't playing D20 armies. Alright, so there's a nice initiative win for Dysole. An attack on a Banshee.
Yeah.
And a nice kill. Yeah.
It goes down.
That's true too. I neglected to mention that. So the heroic attack glyph lets Dysole add 1 to her hero's attacks at least once per turn. So,
yeah, so that's a C3V glyph.
Mm-hmm. And then Dysole retreats up in the north a little bit. Again, it's just like looking for that position and for that edge and trying not to like leave yourself too vulnerable in one spot.
Yeah.
But I think
Yeah. That was a
Kevin really needs to kill Kosumet right here in order to keep Kosumet from going crazy, go nuts on his banshees.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, definitely smart of Dysole to move back away from that glyph. When I had commented on it earlier about her going up to that glyph. Now, technically, this map has preset glyphs when it's built.
Oh, really?
Or in the build instructions, and that glyph up there is a defense glyph.
Oh.
On the build instructions.
Huh.
So, Dysole, I feel like I owe you an apology. You went up to grab the initiative glyph. And in my brain, I was thinking defense. And the fact that there was a D on that glyph didn't really help. Or maybe the Death Knight was covering up the D so I couldn't see it.
Yeah. That's it.
But yeah, Dysole needed that initiative to get Comuset there to try and chip away at those banshees.
Mm-hmm.
So I like that play.
Yeah, it's definitely throwing off Kevin's plans. Going for both attacks. Could get the kill here. Does not get the kill. Kosumet's alive for another round, so that's probably another dead banshee. And that would bring Kevin down to 4, which is not super safe territory.
Yeah, we still got 3 squads, looks like. Yeah, 3 squads of Death Knights.
Yeah, that's true.
Ooh,
that's
a dead banshee.
Man.
Dude, I've never seen Comuset do stuff like this. Holy cow.
It's crazy, right?
I guess I've actually never seen it in a game, but I've heard he pairs really well because of the relentless attack bonus with the Vulcan mechs. I've heard that can be a fun setup.
I've kind of thought about doing that with like Death Knights, Kosumet, Incendiborgs, and then whatever other hero to kind of like round that army out.
Yeah.
With like, Death Knights in front, put Kosumet in a spot to boost Incendiborgs. I think it'd be fine. I think you'd probably rather have Death Reavers, but
yeah.
as far as a bad 75-point hero figure goes, I think it'd be fine.
It's fine.
Yeah, but no, that is one thing I do like about this. Again, I'm going to go to this reverse draft format. And like draft formats in general, I like that you can see a lot of figures that don't get enough playtime usually. Because once you go from a double blind to some kind of draft format, anything can be played and anything can be good. Because like Kosumet, you can draft him against banshees and it's pretty good. It turns out, a cheap hero against high-priced squad figures that are just about only good against other commons is pretty decent.
Yeah, totally. I actually played a game against Kevin Dola earlier today.
Oh, nice.
And I enjoy playing against Kevin Dola. He's fun to play against.
He is.
But it's fun. It's just like I used the Drow, and he was running Roman archers, right? And then I had Siege in there, and
nice.
I don't know, just some fun. It was a really fun game using figures that at least don't see a lot of playtime.
Yeah, it's like a little bit more off-brand.
Okay, yeah, Dysole's playing the come get me game.
Really interesting flow to this game. You get like a couple of figures run out to attack and then are beaten back, and then like they kind of like trade positions. You had Brontos up front and then they retreat, and then you got Kosumet in there, and then Dysole plays defensive positioning. And now Kevin's going for another kind of like slow approach up that hill.
Yeah, it is so fun to see how these types of games differ from just like your stereotypical tournament game, with your spiky armies. Mm-hmm. Because it's like if you try and play that same way with these types of armies, especially against these types of players, right? Like Dysole and Kevin Dola, you're gonna get shredded.
yeah, exactly. I think that's a great point, because if you think about like your quote-unquote standard play where you're just kind of like going for that big engagement and trying to kill as much stuff as you can as quickly as you can, you might have seen some similarities in like Brontos carrying Raylan to the front and then trying to go all in with Banshees. But if you think about it, like if Kevin had continued that push with Banshees, he just doesn't have the numbers and doesn't have the staying power. And he would have just, even with the hill, I think he would have just gotten completely overwhelmed by Dysole's figures. And so he's needed to play like a lot more defensively and just choose his engagements, because that's the one thing he can do with 7-move flying is he can choose his engagements.
Yep.
And so I think that's huge. I mean, like, you see that a lot in this like level of play. That's why you'll see, I know a lot of players hate ye old turtling tactics, but sometimes like that there's just no other way to like be relevant in a game unless you're kiting with your figures and you're pushing that advantage. And that's, I mean, because when I was a newer player, I also kind of like hated the turtling and the kiting and all that stuff, because I'm like, oh, that's just annoying, just like play the game. But I feel like now that I've seen it played a lot more, and I've played a lot more at this level, I feel like that adds a whole lot more to the game, and it makes it a whole lot more interesting when both players are like playing to the best of their abilities.
Yeah. And I think it also helps too. Like, I mean, when you're playing against Dysole or kevindola, or honestly, I feel like when you're playing against most people in the Heroscapers community, I never feel like, I'm trying to think of the words to put it. I don't feel like they're being that way. The words are escaping me.
Like they're not trying to be a jerk.
Yeah.
No,
Like,
I agree with that.
They're not playing that way to try and be, annoying. And it's not like, I don't know. I feel like for a lot of people, the win isn't everything. Mm-hmm. It's like the experience is so much. So I feel like that kind of perspective has helped a lot.
Yeah, I can definitely agree with that. And a lot of my most fun games have been online against really strong players. In games where I've like lost, but I felt like I was playing really, really really, really strong, and my opponent was also playing really, really strong. And I don't know, it feels really good when you come off of one of those games, even if like win or lose, it's just a great game.
Yeah, just slowly moving that little pot of Death Knights.
Yeah, just looking for that advantage. Let's see. Kevindola can kind of like sit on top of that hill and start screaming Death Knights and stuff, or maybe a diminutive guard. I think this will be a big part of the game, because now that Dysole's getting more towards the center of the board, it's only taken her, like 6 rounds to get there.
Yeah.
Give or take.
Something like
that. But I think now that she's getting into this stronger position, when and where Kevin chooses to engage, and especially how he uses the Banshee Scream, is going to be huge. Because, like, for example, right now, he could sit on top of this plateau up top and scream the forwardmost Death Knight and just get that automatic kill. But then there's a Skull Demon right next door who can just completely destroy Banshees. So, like, we could see Kevindola retreat again and look to get Brontos in there to try to kill the Skull Demon. I don't think that happens, because the Skull Demon has no reason to engage with Brontos right now. So he kind of needs to force that. It's a big puzzle, I feel like.
Yeah. There's no safe spot where you can get close enough to scream something without. So
he's gonna go for the "I'll just engage you and attack you ye old-fashioned way." Interesting. I don't think I hate it. I just wonder if, I think at this point it's like a matter of timing between like one turn and the next. I feel like maybe one more turn would have been ideal to, I don't know. Of course, a lot of it depends on how these attacks go.
Yeah, totally. Let's see, I think that little wolf guy only has 1 defense, right? Against melee attacks.
Against melee.
I can't remember what he's... Dark Prowl? Is that what it is? Dark Prowl Thrall?
Dark Prowl,
I know they're really cool. I really enjoy using them with... I think they're actually my favorite Thrall to use with Nikki.
Oh, yeah? They're a pretty cool one. Yeah, they've only got 1 defense in melee, and then they've got 4 defense against ranged attacks. Or sorry, 5 total, plus 4, which makes 5 total defense. But, I think that's a fair attack to go for, because a 3v1 is probably going to kill it.
Yeah.
Oh, but it doesn't.
Oh, man.
The undead doggy is safe.
Okay, that should probably go through against
Yeah.
that Death Knight.
It's a good hit. Good solid 3 out of 3. So that's a good one. And then Kevin can scream at...
I'd probably scream another Death Knight.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Because that Dark Prowl isn't the most dangerous thing right now. I mean, it's got Pounce special attack, but that's only if it gets unengaged.
Right.
And I think Dysole's going to be using the Skull Demon anyway.
Yeah. I have no idea how Dysole comes up with all of these. And I don't think she ever repeats.
Nope. Yeah, no, I don't think so. She is super creative like that.
Oh.
That's a pretty...
Okay, interesting. Would you have done that?
With the
Dumatef? Yeah, I don't think I like that play as much as the...
Yeah, I think I would have done Skull Demon. I would have even put Skull Demon down there to attack up, because... I mean, that's the same amount of attack dice rolling up, but the being able to subtract 1 from the attack of your attacker kind of like nullifies that height advantage that they'd have. That doesn't completely nullify it, because they still got the extra attack instead of 3v4 instead of 2v4, but I think that'd just be safer. And honestly, I feel like also I'd want to be saving Demutifs for Brontos.
Yeah, we're getting some interesting movement shenanigans.
Yeah, you know, it's just classic miscounting the spaces.
Yeah. Well, Big, I'm disappointed. I've said that word more this game than you have.
I thought you were doing well with it and want to take it from you.
I love your title.
Oh, thank you, sir.
Dysole, when you watch this, if you watch this, thank you so much.
All right, so that was... Is that the end of the round? That was the end of the round, right? I can't see Kevin Dola's order marker, but I think Kevin won initiative that go. I think that was the end of his round as well. So I think the other thing that I don't love about Kevin's timing of that attack is the fact that it is the end of the round, and so there's a chance that he just loses another Banshee next turn if Dysole wins initiative.
Mm-hmm.
And then he only has 2 Banshees, which is good enough to make 1 solid attack with, and then he's down to Brontos. I think that's just like another reason why I would have pulled back with those Banshees for just a turn, and then this beginning of this round gone in. But looks like he's going to go full flunch with them. There's 3 order markers on Banshees.
Ooh, wow, he won that. No, Dysole still needs to reroll.
All right, you did take it.
Ooh.
All right, so that worked out decently.
Yeah.
Still kind of... I think Kevin is getting pressured enough at this point that he does kind of need to take those risks to get the swings that he needs.
Sure.
So I can't really blame him for going 3 order markers on Banshees. Plus, I mean, I'd guess order marker 3 is probably on Brontos.
Yeah, that would make sense. With 3 Banshees left, yeah, that 3rd order marker has got to be on Brontos.
Kind of hope so.
At least I would. Yeah, I'd hope so.
But so
he's hoping for a miracle from the dice gods,
right?
With his defense dice.
I mean, if he can, I'm trying to look at where he's able to attack right now. But if he can kill 3 figures this turn, and then he probably, probably like 90% loses 2 Banshees next turn. So if he's able to kill a total of 4 more figures with his Banshees, I think that's a decent spot for him, because then Brontos is able to clean up.
Yeah.
And he's got some good
that
position.
Movement, that's that level 3 position that he moved to. I feel like that was the sweet spot.
Yeah.
To get the attack down on the Dumatef. Hopefully take out that. He just took out the Dark Prowl, and then he'll be able to scream a Death Knight.
Yeah. So if he gets all of those kills, that's actually a pretty decent spot with him.
Ooh,
3 skulls,
big hit.
Nice.
3 skulls.
Yeah, and then he'll scream a Death Knight. And like I said, Banshees are kind of wild cards. That's huge, being able to kill, and then just automatically destroying the Death Knight. Banshees have a lot of offensive power, and I still do think he probably loses both of the Banshees right now. But killing 3 guys with that was definitely worth it. Especially now that...
fair trade.
Yeah. And with Dysole being down to only 2 Death Knights, not in a great position to push too hard with both of them at the same time now. Well, depending on, I guess if Kevin can only kill one guy per turn, then the Death Knights are a bit better.
Yeah.
But he's going to have to be careful with at least one of them. Interesting! Lots of back and forths in this game. Oh, so she's going to retreat with that Death Knight.
Yeah, which, I mean, she's got probably all of her order markers on Death Knight, so that makes sense.
Yeah, because that would really hurt if you whiffed that attack and then lost both Death Knights.
Yeah.
So I think that's a really good play. Kevin, let's see. Oh, just retreating with the Banshee.
Interesting. Well, duh, that's probably his next order marker's on Brontos. So yeah,
right.
It made sense to
do. I don't know. I feel like if you didn't have any more order markers on the Banshee, you could just run in with it and try to kill that Death Knight. Ah, so it was on the Banshees.
Wow. Huh.
Boom, get predicted, Kevin. Get on my level. Oh, but he's still just hanging out on the bridge. Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like, let's see, 1, 2. Oops. Dropped my counter. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6. For those of you who can't see, which is everybody, I do have a knitting needle that I use to count out spaces with when I'm watching these games.
I will admit that I was wondering. I was like, you dropped your counter.
Yeah, just like a knitting needle pointy stick to count out spaces with, Anyway, I think I would have, with that Banshee, maybe it's better to play safe with it. I probably would have just, since I'm like, last Banshee, I wasn't going to lose a turn on it because that was order marker 3 right there. I probably would have just gone in for that Demutif on the glyph and just made a Hail Mary attack to try to kill it.
Yeah. And yeah, he could have gotten adjacent to it. Yeah.
Yeah. And a 3v4 isn't terrible. I mean, I wouldn't be banking on that to like win the game or anything, but I don't think you can really bank on that Banshee to win the game, even if you hold it back. Question mark? I don't know. It'll be interesting to see how that plays out, because I could be proved wrong. I kind of hope that I'm proven wrong, because that would mean I'd learned something pretty cool.
Well, but taking the turn with the Banshee there, I mean, you've already got the benefit of you've got an order marker on it, right? Mm-hmm. So, like, in the future, you don't have to try and play the game of, okay, is Brontos going to die on turn 1 or turn 2 of this round? Should I place my number 3 on the Banshee?
Right.
So, yeah, I think I agree with you there. I just would have liked to see that number 3 order marker be used to get him in there and to try and take an attack.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. So we're coming into another round. I think it's also interesting that Dysole is circling that Demutif up around to the north. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Can't quite hit Brontos right now, but could in 2 turns.
Yeah.
I guess that does kind of set up a threat where she's like, okay, if you're going to sit on that road, I'm going to have multiple angles to attack you from, so you can't be too comfortable.
Yeah. Yeah, well, honestly, I don't see Brontos sticking around by that road for much longer.
Right, yeah.
I think on my next turn, I think I stick him adjacent to that tree on the on level 2.
Okay, and just kind of like prepare to jump in.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could definitely see that approach. Or he could just go to attack the Skull Demon. Again, melee battles. Who's going to make the first move?
Right.
Yeah, so Skull Demon there. If Brontos moves in to attack it, then the Demutif guard could take height on Brontos, and so it's not an ideal spot for Brontos. But also, I don't think Kevin necessarily wants to let Dysole get the first hit. Oh,
yeah.
Hang on, I just noticed this. 2 order markers on Banshees for kevindola.
Wow.
I kind of took it for granted. I thought that he'd have given up on him, but interesting. So I wonder if he's got some kind of crazy evil scheme.
Apparently Dysole just saw that too. Dysole heard your voice from the future.
I do have that effect on these games.
And then Dysole probably said, I wonder if order marker 1 is on that Banshee, which it would make the well.
Like, what? I don't know. Because, I mean, I think
it's like, why would you put number 3 on it?
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. But of course, if you're expecting order marker number 1 to be on the Banshee, then why do you move the Demutif up there where the Banshee can do that?
Yeah.
I started that sentence before that happened, so that means it means I knew it was gonna happen, and not that, or that I was being predictive, and I got skills, yo.
Well, see, the reason you do that if you're Dysole is because you know that you're gonna block the attack, and she even didn't roll. Yeah, there we go. She rolled the extra shield for the road bonus.
Interesting. So it was a bait to, but then you just tied up your diminutive guard.
Yeah.
That's interesting. I don't know. Honestly, I think kevindola was looking for an opportunity like that. Now that I've kind of seen how it's played out, I'm guessing that he was saving the Banshee and put that order marker 1 on the Banshee, just looking for like a stronger attack than like a 3v4 versus the diminutive on the glyph, for example. Like a 4v5 is it's a good bit better than a 3v4. So I could see, like, if there weren't any good attacks at that point, I bet he would have just kept the Banshee on the bridge still and just kind of held back, because like he's shown no intention to really go aggressive.
Yeah, wait a second. Did Dysole really miscount that one? 1, 2, 3. Because the Dumatefs have 6 move.
Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 5, 6. Wait.
I think that Dumatef could have gotten up there. I don't think Dysole miscounted that.
From that position, yeah, no, that was okay.
Man, this is such a pain.
See, because you'd move 1 to get adjacent to the height, and then you'd 1, 2, 3, 4. So that'd be 5 total. 6 to... Yeah, no, that one was fine.
Oh, well. Dysole killed it anyway.
Yeah, it worked out, I suppose. Yeah, and then Dysole just making good position around the glyph. I mean, neither of them really have a reason to push super hard right now, because if either of them like makes a push right now, I think then that person just like loses.
Right.
So, and that's one of those things about like this kind of slow gameplay. That's where you kind of see that where it might not be as I kind of think it's exciting, really, to kind of watch as players look for those good hits. Oh, and Brontos is going onto the bridge. Interesting. But yeah, because like neither player wants to throw the game just because they got impatient.
Right.
And that's something I've had to teach myself.
Yeah, me too. Maybe we've all had those games where we're playing with somebody who like takes an obscenely long amount of time to just play the game,
right?
Even in the most straightforward of situations. And so you just get so fed up that you just like, well, whatever, I don't even care. Just move your guy wherever. And then you die hardcore.
Oh, yeah. And Dysole's going for the hill. Gonna force kevindola to take a bad position to attack her. And I can kind of see where that's maybe... Oh, actually, interesting. I was just trying to figure out who's got the points advantage. And they are dead even on points.
Wow, really?
Yeah, because sometimes I think in this... Yeah, so let's see, 60 points for the Death Knights.
Skull Demon 65.
Yeah.
Yeah, they are dead even.
So it's 175 and 175, and Skull Demon and Brontos both don't have wounds. So I was just going to say, like, sometimes in these situations I'll, like, count points, and whoever's behind on points is, like, more inclined to be the aggressor, because if neither player pushes, then the person who's ahead on points wins. But they're dead even, so interesting.
Yeah, wow, huh.
Not that, I mean, like, and not that I'm saying that either of these players are trying to stall out the game or anything like that. I think they're both really just looking for good positions to attack from. And I think they've...
totally.
Yeah, just a lot of small things going on here that you don't have in a lot of your usual games, which I think is fun. I think it's fun to watch these kinds of games where you kind of have that atypical matchup. But now we've got Brontos engaging.
Ooh.
And whomping down. Uh-oh. Dysole's calling it.
No.
Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5,
that was 6.
Nope, it was 6. All right, and now Kevin's ahead on points.
Yeah. Wait. that killed it.
Mm-hmm.
One hit.
But that does put him right next to the death penalty.
Oh, sorry. I was. Oh man, he was attacking the Dumatef. I was. That was a Dumatef on there, not the Skull Demon.
Oh, that would have been huge against the Skull Demon, and that is huge against Brontos. Man.
Holy cow.
So yeah, this is what we were building up to for the past few turns, folks.
Yeah.
Hopefully you stuck it through, because this is where, like, I mean, you get a lot of that build up and then it just like all crashes. And this is why you see where Kevin was being so careful. I mean, obviously that 4 skull 0 shield is huge, but even just like the numbers advantage is huge against Kevin Dola right now.
Wow. Yeah.
And that's why he was being so cautious.
Yep.
So, what does Kevin do now? Can he?
Man, 6 wounds on Brontos in 1 turn.
I know, that's crazy. And now he needs to. I don't know. Would you try to kill the Skull Demon? Because once the Skull Demon's gone, that's a lot of pressure off. But like very not good odds that you kill the Skull Demon in 1 hit.
Ooh, I was wondering if Kevin would do this.
Run away
risk
with the
risk the disengage and hope to draw Dysole. If Dysole wants multiple attacks, you got to come off that glyph.
Yeah. No, I think that's actually a really good move. And again, Brontos kidnapping a Death Knight.
Yeah. He's such a cool thematic unit.
Right?
Yeah.
And only 1 skull, so 2 hits down.
Oh,
it does get the kill though.
Okay.
All right, good. Making it nice and close. That's what I like.
Yeah. So, if you're Dysole, do you take both off?
Let's see. Only 2 wounds left on Brontos. I think so.
And this is order marker 2.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, you're good.
With a hit like that.
Okay.
There it is.
That answers our questions for us. That throws all hypotheticals out the window.
There you go.
But no, I think that was the correct move, because if you just moved the Death Knight adjacent to Brontos, then you lose the Death Knight and you lose your order markers.
Right.
So you definitely want the attack with the Skull Demon, and then you also have the Skull Demon boosting the Death Knight's attack. So you've got pretty good odds to deal 2 wounds, I feel like.
Yeah.
Obviously, it was a 100% chance to deal 2 wounds. That's how statistics work, right?
Yeah, there you go. That was a crazy end to that game. Yeah. That was really cool.
Just a lot of the pacing with that game was all over the place. I mean, both players had to take it super slow at times. Both of them had to go really fast at times. And yeah, that was a good game to watch. I feel like that's one of those games where, like, I feel like I watched a couple of these kinds of games when I was getting into online Heroscape, and that like really opened my eyes to how to pace a game, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Kosume MVP, unless you count Skull Demon for putting 6.5 wounds on Brontos. Yeah.
Yeah.
I can agree with that.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, that was a really well played game on both sides.
Yeah, that was fun to watch. It's fun to watch good players playing, because you learn so much.
Yeah, 100% agreed there. And so Dysole takes that win. That does mean that she does go on to the finals of this event that is already finished, technically. So spoilers there for anybody who's looked at that thread. But yeah, it's a good game. Well, I do have the finals, so we'll be able to see that relatively soonish, at least from the release of this video. It should be fairly soon after, 1 or 2 weeks after, depending on, because I've got the other semifinals game, so it depends on which one I post first. But yeah, good game right there. And thank you for joining with me for it, Flash.
Yeah, thank you again so much for having me. This was a lot of fun.
Yeah, of course. Always a pleasure having you on. Do you have any thoughts you'd like to finish with? Anything you'd like to share with you two?
Oh man, let's see. I'll have you know, in the past few weeks, ever since that exchange, I've actually been listening to you two like quite a bit more this these past few weeks. And it's been really good.
Nice, I'm glad.
It's been really good. So it has filled my life with joy during this bleak quarantine time in which we live.
There you go. So for those viewers out there, yeah, right. U2 and Heroscape. You should make a YouTube playlist for playing Heroscape.
Yeah, I usually just listen to nerdy like Two Steps from Hell and stuff like that.
There you go. That's good stuff too.
Feels just epic, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah, 100% on board there. But,
Lord of the Rings, right?
Oh, that's a good one.
Lord of the Rings ambiance. Oh yeah, that's where it's at.
I do get a lot of joy out of those ambiance, just like playlists on YouTube.
Oh, totally.
All right, so thank you viewers for joining us today. Hopefully you enjoyed that game as much as we did, and hopefully you enjoyed having Flash on again. I'm sure you did. Make sure you check out Flash's map thread because it is incredible. He does great work. So Game Bear, the designer of the map that we watched today, he's like old school Flash. Flash is new school Game Bear. Great map maker. Check him out.
Well, thanks.
Of course. Again, thank you for joining us. Look forward to seeing you around next time, and go out there and enjoy this beautiful, beautiful, glorious world.
Mm-hmm.